Greetings, this is Dwayne from CFRN. Today we're looking at March the 26th, 2012. You can see right here, March the 26th, a Monday. This little section right here, Globex, Sunday night. Okay. Our very first buy signal comes in on the pullback right here. Okay. Now, I'm going to use my horizontal line tool, which I typically only used as a marker for my weekly trading zones. So as I use them in this video, don't confuse the two. I'm not showing you a weekly trading zone. I'm simply showing you a horizontal line, and I'm making it easy for everyone to see the price. Okay. So where did price pull back to? Where did we get our buy signal? We got our buy signal at 1393.75. Okay, what happened after that? Well, price rallied up. It drew down. It drew down as low as 92.50. So from 93.75 to 92.50, it drew down 1.25. That was the maximum drawdown on this trade. It then rallied up to 1396.50. That would be the high right here, 1396.50. So from 96.50 2 3/4 points. Now that's what you had right here. You had 2 3/4 points just in this area here. From the pullback entry to this little reversal candle where we come back to test, we put in another reversal candle, and then the move actually gets underway. And this time it really gets underway. It goes from 1393.75 all the way up to 1406.75. So this first little move was good for 2 3/4 points. Okay, just the first little move. Now the entire move, 1406.75 minus 1393.75, 13 points. So the entire move, and that's how we'll mark this, because you might have took some of it, all of it, or none of it. Okay. It's something you have to be very careful about. It doesn't matter how many points a particular move produces if you're not available to take the move, and if you don't actually take the move or take the opportunity or take the trade and then remain in the trade. See, this is a 13-point rally. This has nothing to do with any system, any indicator. This is it's partially a function of math, and it's partially a function of price was at 1393.75, and it peaked up here at 1406.75 where it put in this little doji. Okay, if you got out over here, you didn't get 13 points. If you got out over here, you didn't get 13 points. If you let it put in the top and then pull all the way back to here, you didn't get 13 points. Am I saying that I expect you to have gotten 13 points out of this rally? No, quite the opposite. What I'm saying is, for you to have actually gotten 13 points out of this would be, the odds would be, I don't know if astronomical might be too big a word, but hopefully it conveys my point. Because people will hand you a system or a set of statistics or a pie chart or a graph or an Excel spreadsheet, and they'll factor this in as 13 points. Okay. Well, you know what? That's just short of ridiculous. Okay? 2 3/4 points, totally doable. And anything between that 2 3/4 points all the way up to this 13, doable. Okay? It's dependent upon how much patience you have, what your risk tolerance is, what your daily goal is, what your trading plan is. From the entry signal to the peak, did it go 13 points? Yes. How much could you have taken out of that? That's entirely up to you. How much did you take out of it? I don't know if you even traded it. You see where I'm going with this? I'm trying to issue a warning. This whole trading business, there's a bit of a cautionary tale for everyone, and I know I've said it many times in many partners meetings, many webinars, many online classes, but I can't say it enough. The reality, I'm going to say it one more time and move on. Okay, and hopefully you'll get it. And it's not so much for the point of this video that you get it. It's for the point of every other thing that you ever see on the internet. I want you to ask yourself these questions. When you couldn't see any of this over here, when you couldn't see any of this, okay, when all you could see was the pullback, and you step up to the plate and you lay your money down and you purchase a ticket, whether it's for 1 contract or 100 contracts, and you say, I'm in this trade. It pulls down on you 1.25. Yikes. Not working out the way we thought. Then suddenly it's up 2 3/4 points. Nice. Now all of a sudden you're back down 1.25. Oh, how did I let that happen? I was up 2 3/4 points. Now I'm down 1.25. What kind of a knucklehead am I? And so maybe you scratched the trade right there. Man, I'm not losing anymore. That's it. I'm out. I'm out of this trade. And then off she goes for a 13-point rally. See, that's my point. When people hand you the stuff, they don't tell you all of that, what I just said. Were you available? If you were available, would you have taken the trade? And if you had taken the trade, would you have stayed in the trade? Okay? They're not going to ask you the hard questions. You have to ask yourself those kinds of questions. Okay? And if you'll do that, you'll get closer and closer and closer to the truth about trading. All right. Let's move on. What happens next? Okay, price comes down and just kind of rolls along here. Now, am I apt to go long at this point? I'm going to be honest with you. Probably not. We just put in a 13-point rally. I'm kind of looking for the market to maybe do a little bit of a retracement. But it does pull back to the trigger line. Okay? Now, for argument's sake, because I like to argue as much as the next guy, let's say that you chose, because you always have a choice. Let's say you chose to buy this pullback here. Even though you got a red MA1 coming down and you just put in a 13-point rally, you're feeling pretty good about the market and its bullish potential. So you go, I'm going to buy that. 1404.75. That's the price right there. See it over here? 1404.75. Okay? Now, what was the swing low there? 1403.25. Okay? 1404.75 minus 1403.25. It's a 1.5 point drawdown. But a couple other things happen along the way. It comes down, it goes sideways for what feels like forever. You get a 1.5 point drawdown. On this trade setup, in the live trading room, you'll never see us risk more than 2 points on this trade setup. Now, could we have stayed in this trade with a 2-point risk? The truth of the matter is we could. The greater truth is we probably wouldn't have taken the trade. Okay? I'll tell you what's. However, let me just say that if you did take the trade, from the pullback at 1404.75, price continues up to, now remember the entry was 1404.75. That move, the swing high at the end of the day down here, remember this line, this vertical line on the chart signifies the 27th. Remember, we've been recapping the 26th. Okay, so so the swing high 1416.50. Is that right? No, 1417 it looks like. Yeah, but you know what? I'd rather use this one. 1416.75. So, grab a calculator. 1416.75 minus. Go back and look at our entry price. 1404.75 equals 12 points. So this section here was good for 12 points if you took the trade. And if you stayed in the trade all day. Gotta ask yourself, is that you? Is that something you would do? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Now, so I showed you a 13-point rally and a 12-point rally. I think without my calculator, I've shown you two trade setups that had 25 points potential on the trading day of March the 26th. Okay? But let me show you something else. Okay? Now I want you to think about this. As I said, after a 13-point rally up, right? We had this 13-point rally that went up to here. I said that on this pullback, I would probably be looking for maybe a little deeper retracement than just a couple points. So there's a chance that on this pullback, personally, I might not have gotten long here. And on this bearish cross and this pullback right here, there is a very good chance that I might have gotten short right there or right there. Now, if I had gotten short right there, what would have happened? I'll tell you exactly what would have happened. I would have been stopped out for 2 points. Period. If I shorted right here, that's what would have happened. I would have gotten stopped out for 2 points. Now, if I'm getting stopped out for 2 points here, that means I'm not long from back here. Follow me? Okay. Now, what happens over here? We get a bullish cross. Okay. So we just patiently wait for that same setup to come along. And we get a pullback to 1408.25, and we already have established that price rallied ultimately up to 1416.75 on March the 26th. Correct? So let's say I did get stopped out for 2 points there. Okay, waiting on the next trade. Comes along, the entry's at 1408.25. Swing high 1416.75. 1416.75 minus 1408.25 equals 8.5 points. Okay. Now let's say I have to subtract 2 points from that because I got stopped out here, and that becomes 6.5 points. Or let's just say I don't like being long after the market closes. So maybe after I make up for my 2-point stop out, maybe I wind up with 2 points. Come on. Seriously? The market makes a 13-point rally and a 12-point rally. Carry the 1, 25 points. You're saying you might have made 2 points on the day? Yeah. Because that's one of the possibilities that you have to embrace. Now, could I feed you this data differently? Could I put it on a graph, put it on a pie chart, highlight it, do some different things, make little, plumes of smoke come out of your ears just thinking about all that money? Yeah. But I'm really trying to do quite the opposite. Okay? Trying to bring it down to earth, trying to talk to you about the reality of trading. And, this is after the fact, okay? It's very easy to highlight this, draw these lines, and map it out. But whether it's after the fact or live market, there's two things that do not change, okay? This pullback right here, it looked exactly the same in live markets as it does after the fact. Price pulled back. You had to be able, that's a good word, you had to be able and willing to step up to the counter, purchase a ticket, and say, I want to ride. Again, whether that's for one contract or 100, it's not the point. You got these red candles coming down. This is your trigger. You're going to buy a ticket or not. Once you buy the ticket, how long are you going to stay on the train? That's up to you. Did we ever close below the BBC? Was there ever any reason for you to get out before this? No, there really wasn't. Okay? If you're trailing a stop, once you got through this, okay? Now, remember, we talked about how on this little pullback right here, you might have very easily said, okay, I weathered a drawdown, and then I was up 2 3/4 points. Now I'm down a point, a quarter, point and a half, whatever the case is. I'm just getting out. So here's the truth about trading, is that in the staring a 13-point rally in the face, you might have got nothing. Boy, now there's a way to end a video. But see, this video is not designed to get you pumped up about unrealistic possibilities. This is to talk to you about high probability. Okay, not possibility, probability. I'm going to end this video now, and the next one will be March the 27th, and we'll walk through it the exact same way. By the way, if you have not taken our free trial, by all means, do that. Go to cfrn.net/apply.